Worry, it's like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do but takes you nowhere. Meanwhile, study? Now that's the path to transformation. The question is, which one are you giving your time to? Let me ask you something. How much time do you spend worrying about things that might never happen? And how much time do you spend studying the things that will change your life? You see, worry is the thief of potential. It's a distraction. It's a silent killer of dreams. But studying, that's where the magic begins. Today, I want to talk about this critical shift. Stop worrying. Start studying. Because if you truly want to make 2025 the year you transform your life, this is where it starts. Not with fear, not with doubt, but with learning and growing. So let's take this journey, step by step. Worry doesn't empty tomorrow of its troubles. It only empties today of its strength. Have you ever caught yourself worrying about something that might never happen? Maybe you spent hours imagining the worst-case scenario, rehearsing fears that never came to pass. That's the trap of worry. It hijacks your imagination and turns it against you. Let me tell you, your imagination is one of your greatest gifts. It's the tool that lets you dream of better days, set inspiring goals, and visualize the life you want to create. But when worry takes over, it corrupts this gift. Instead of using your imagination to build, you use it to break down. Instead of creating a vision for success, you create a vision of fear. The problem with worry is that it keeps you stuck. It immobilizes you. You start to believe that thinking about the problem is the same as solving it. But it's not. Worry is not productive. It's destructive. Now here's the good news. You can redirect your imagination. The same mental energy you use to create fears can be used to create plans. The same vivid pictures of failure you see in your mind can be replaced with pictures of success. I once spoke to a man who worried constantly about his financial future. He'd lie awake at night, imagining losing his home, his car, and everything he worked for. But instead of letting worry paralyze him, he made a decision. He said, "If I can imagine the worst, I can also imagine the best. So why not use my imagination to motivate myself instead of frighten myself?" And that's exactly what he did. He started using his imagination to visualize the steps he could take to improve his finances. He imagined himself reading books, attending seminars, and applying new strategies. His focus shifted from what could go wrong to what he could make go right. So here's your first challenge. Every time you catch yourself worrying, pause and ask, what can I imagine instead? Replace the worry with a vision of possibility. If you're worried about your career, imagine yourself excelling in a new role. If you're worried about your health, imagine yourself full of energy and vitality. Remember this, worry is nothing more than wasted creativity. Don't let it rob you of your potential. Instead, redirect your imagination towards solutions, growth, and success. You have the power to decide how you use your imagination. Make it work for you, not against you. Let worry go and let creativity flow. Because the future isn't something to fear, it's something to build. And it all starts with how you choose to think today. Fear is a natural reaction to the unknown. Knowledge is the antidote. You see, fear thrives in the darkness of ignorance. It grows when we don't know what's ahead or how to handle what's coming our way. But knowledge, true, clear, well-understood knowledge, destroys that fear. Think about it. What are you afraid of right now? Is it the fear of failure? The fear of rejection? The fear of uncertainty? I can tell you right now, most of those fears are rooted in not knowing what to do or how to handle the situation. But when you arm yourself with knowledge, you take away the unknown. When you understand how something works, the fear starts to fade. Let me give you an example. Years ago, I was terrified of public speaking. The thought of standing in front of an audience made my heart race. I imagined stumbling over my words, forgetting everything I wanted to say, or worse, being judged by everyone in the room. But I realized something. That fear came from not knowing how to speak effectively, not knowing how to organize my thoughts, and not knowing how to connect with my audience. So I set out to change that. I began to study. I studied the art of speaking, the science of communication, and the psychology of audience engagement. I read books, watched speeches, and learned from those who had already mastered the craft. And slowly, that fear began to dissipate. The more knowledge I gained, the less fear I felt. I went from being terrified of public speaking to enjoying it. Why? Because knowledge destroys fear. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm not saying you won't feel nervous or uncomfortable sometimes. But the more you learn and the better prepared you are, the more you'll realize that fear is just an illusion created by your lack of understanding. If you want to conquer fear in any area of your life, start by learning about it. Get to know it. Understand what's causing it and how you can deal with it. When you have the tools, the strategies, and the knowledge, you'll face the world with confidence instead of fear. Fear is not a permanent part of you. It's a temporary state caused by a lack of knowledge. When you start seeking out the knowledge you need, you'll find that fear becomes less and less powerful. The next time fear tries to hold you back, remember this: knowledge is your weapon. Knowledge is your shield. Knowledge is the key to unlocking your potential and overcoming anything that stands in your way. So don't run from fear, instead run toward learning. Because knowledge doesn't just give you answers, it gives you the courage to move forward. And with courage, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Where focus goes, energy flows. If you focus on the problem, you'll remain stuck. If you focus on the solution, you'll move forward. It's so easy to get caught up in the problem. Life has a way of presenting obstacles, and it's natural to feel frustrated or overwhelmed. But here's something important to remember. The more you focus on the problem, the bigger it becomes. I've seen it time and time again. People who get fixated on what's wrong, and in doing so, they stay stuck. They dwell on their challenges, complain about their circumstances, and get lost in a loop of negativity. And do you know what happens? The problem grows. It takes on a life of its own. Now here's the flip side. The people who break through the barriers and find success are the ones who shift their focus to the solution. They don't ignore the problem. They acknowledge it, yes. But then they ask, what can I do about it? I remember a time when I was facing a tough challenge in my business. The problem seemed overwhelming. Nothing was going according to plan. I could have easily gotten lost in the frustration. But I chose a different path. I said to myself, okay, what's the solution? What steps can I take right now to improve the situation? It wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight. But by focusing on what I could control, by searching for answers instead of dwelling on the obstacles, I found my way through. That's the power of shifting your focus. When you focus on solutions, you empower yourself. You start seeing opportunities instead of roadblocks. You start identifying small steps you can take to make things better, instead of feeling helpless in the face of the problem. Here's a simple practice. The next time you face a challenge, take a moment to breathe. Acknowledge the issue, but then ask yourself, what's the solution? What's one action I can take right now to move forward? What resources or knowledge do I need to solve this? By asking these questions, you instantly shift your mindset from one of limitation to one of possibility. And with that shift comes a renewed sense of power. Remember, life isn't about avoiding problems, it's about how you respond to them. The most successful people are the ones who don't get stuck in their problems. They get to work on their solutions. They take action, adjust when needed, and keep moving forward. The next time life presents you with a problem, don't let it consume you. Shift your focus from the problem to the solution. Start looking for the answer, and soon enough you'll realize that the solution was always within your reach. You just needed to change your perspective. So take control of your thoughts. Stop feeding the problem and start feeding the solution. Because where your focus goes, your energy flows. And with the right focus, There's nothing you can't overcome. Excuses are the nails used to build the house of failure. We've all been there. You set a goal, but something holds you back. You start to come up with reasons why it can't be done. I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. I'm not good enough. These are the excuses that we tell ourselves to justify why we're not moving forward. But let me tell you something, excuses don't solve anything. They keep you stuck. They create a wall around your potential, and every excuse you make is just another brick in that wall. The truth is, the difference between the people who succeed and those who don't isn't talent or luck. It's the ability to take responsibility and find a solution. It's the willingness to say, okay, I don't have everything I need right now, but I'll learn what I need to succeed. When you replace excuses with education, you shift from a place of helplessness to a place of power. Education, whether formal or self-taught, opens doors. It gives you the tools to break down the excuses that have held you back. Let me share a personal story. When I first started in business, I had a lot of excuses. I didn't have the capital. I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the network. But I soon realized that those excuses were not going to change my life. If I kept focusing on what I didn't have, I'd never get anywhere. So I replaced my excuses with education. I invested in books, seminars, mentors, and anything that could help me gain the knowledge I needed to succeed. Slowly but surely, the excuses I had built my life around started to fade away. But here's the catch. You have to be willing to learn. It's not enough to say, I don't know how to do this and leave it at that. You have to say, I don't know how to do this yet, but I will figure it out. You have to actively seek out the information, the people, and the resources that will get you where you want to go. When you replace excuses with education, you stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances. You take control of your life. You empower yourself to grow, to adapt, and to overcome any challenge that comes your way. The education doesn't have to be formal, but it must be intentional. Learn about the areas that matter to you. Whether it's business, personal development, communication skills, or any other field, the more you know, the fewer excuses you'll have. The best part? Knowledge is something that can never be taken away from you. It grows with you, evolves with you, and helps you adapt as you move forward. So the next time you find yourself making an excuse, ask yourself this: what can I learn to overcome this? Replace that excuse with action and education, and watch how your life starts to change. Remember, excuses are temporary, but education lasts forever. When you commit to learning, you replace failure with growth. You replace barriers with opportunities. And you replace limitations with possibilities. The only thing standing between you and success is your willingness to learn. So stop making excuses and start making progress. The most valuable thing you can own is knowledge. And the greatest investment you can make is in your own education. Life doesn't stop teaching when you graduate from school. In fact, that's just the beginning. The real education starts when you take responsibility for your own growth and make learning a lifelong habit. You see, the world is constantly changing. What worked yesterday may not work today. The tools and techniques that were successful 5 years ago might be outdated now. The key to staying ahead, to staying relevant, is committing to lifelong learning. Let's face it, if you stop learning, you stop growing, and if you stop growing, you start falling behind. But when you make learning a lifelong habit, you keep pushing forward, adapting to new challenges and becoming a better version of yourself every single day. I'll tell you this, there's no such thing as being too old to learn. I don't care how much experience you have or how many degrees you've earned. The day you stop learning is the day you start to fade. Knowledge is the currency of success, and the more you acquire, the richer you become. I remember when I first began speaking and teaching, I thought I knew it all. After all, I had read a few books, attended a couple of seminars, and had my own experiences. But then I realized something crucial. I didn't know nearly enough. The more I learned, the more I realized how much I still had to learn. So I made a commitment to myself. that I would never stop learning. Every day, I dedicated time to reading, listening to experts, learning from others, and constantly improving my skills. That habit has shaped everything I've accomplished. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most committed to learning. Here's the thing. Learning isn't just about gaining knowledge. It's about applying it. It's about turning what you learn into action. You can read all the books in the world, attend all the seminars, and acquire all the knowledge you can, but if you don't apply it, what's the point? True learning happens when you take what you've learned and put it into practice. It's about using that knowledge to improve your life and the lives of those around you. Now, I want you to think about this. If you were to commit to learning just 30 minutes a day, how much would you have learned by the end of the year? 30 minutes a day adds up to over 180 hours in 1 year. That's a lot of time to invest in yourself. Imagine the person you could become if you made learning a daily habit. The best part about lifelong learning is that it's a personal journey. You decide what to learn, when to learn it, and how to apply it. No one else can do it for you. You are the architect of your own growth. So I challenge you, start today. Make the commitment to never stop learning. Pick up a book, listen to a podcast, watch a video, or sign up for a course. Start small, but be consistent. The habit of lifelong learning will pay you dividends for the rest of your life. It will keep you sharp, adaptable, and always moving forward. So don't wait for life to teach you the hard way. Take control, commit to learning, and watch how it transforms your life. Knowledge is power, but only when it's put to work. And the best part? The journey never ends. You can keep growing, keep evolving, and keep succeeding for as long as you choose to learn. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. We all have worries. It's part of being human. We worry about the future, we worry about our goals, and we worry about our ability to achieve them. But here's the thing. Worry doesn't get us anywhere. Worry only keeps us stuck in a place where we're paralyzed by fear and uncertainty. So, how do you move from worry to action? How do you transform your fears into progress? The answer is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between worry and study. It's the force that propels you from a state of inaction to a state of purposeful action. When you're disciplined, you take control of your thoughts, actions, and time. You stop letting worry consume you, and you start putting your energy into learning, growing, and achieving. I remember a time when I was deeply worried about my future. I wasn't sure where I was headed or how I was going to reach my goals. But I realized something crucial. My worry wasn't helping. It wasn't solving anything. In fact, it was making things worse. So I decided to take a step back and refocus. I chose to focus on what I could control: my actions, my mindset, and my discipline. I got up every day and committed to studying, learning, and improving. Even when I didn't feel like it, even when the doubts crept in, I stuck with it. I disciplined myself to push through the worry and put in the work. That discipline became the bridge I needed. It took me from a place of fear to a place of productivity. Instead of being consumed by my worries, I was making progress every single day. Slowly, the worry started to fade, replaced by the confidence that comes from taking consistent action. Discipline doesn't come easy. It requires you to make hard choices. It requires you to sacrifice comfort for growth, immediate gratification for long-term success. But discipline is the difference between success and failure. It's the key to turning your dreams into reality. When you commit to discipline, you commit to your future. You commit to overcoming your worries and fears. You commit to putting in the work, even when the path isn't clear. And the best part? The more disciplined you become, the more you'll start to realize that your worries were never as big as they seemed. It's simple. Worry doesn't change anything, but discipline changes everything. Discipline gets you closer to your goals every single day. It creates momentum, it builds confidence, and it turns your goals into reality. Here's a powerful thought. What if, instead of worrying, you focused on what you could do right now? What if you used your energy to study, to learn, to improve? What if you replaced your worries with disciplined action? That's the bridge between where you are and where you want to go. So, make the decision today. Stop worrying and start disciplining yourself to study, to grow, and to move forward. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to be disciplined enough to take the next step, and the next, and the next. Discipline is your bridge to a future without limits. It's the force that turns dreams into reality and worry into accomplishment. The choice is yours. Will you worry, or will you discipline yourself to succeed? Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Failure. It's a word we all dread. The thought of failing, of falling short, of not achieving what we set out to do can be paralyzing. But here's a little secret that successful people know. Failure is not something to fear. In fact, it's something to embrace. You see, failure is not the end. It's not a permanent state. Failure is a lesson, a powerful, invaluable lesson. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they respond to failure. Successful people don't let failure define them. They don't let it stop them. Instead, they turn their failures into study material. I've failed more times than I can count. I've missed opportunities, I've made mistakes, I've stumbled, fallen, and gotten up again. But each time I failed, I learned. I studied my failures, I analyzed them. I asked myself, what went wrong? What could I have done differently? What lesson can I take away from this? You see, failure isn't the problem. The problem is not learning from it. When you fail and don't reflect, don't analyze, don't study what went wrong, you're missing the opportunity to grow. Failure only hurts when you don't take the time to learn from it. When you treat failure as study material, you shift your perspective. Instead of letting it discourage you, you use it as a tool to become better. You ask yourself the tough questions, and you dig deep to find the answers. Each failure becomes a stepping stone on your path to success. I've had my own share of failures, and each one has taught me something valuable. I've learned the importance of preparation, of discipline, of persistence. I've learned how to adjust my approach, how to think creatively, and how to keep moving forward even when it feels like nothing is going right. You have to understand this. Failure doesn't mean you're incapable. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It simply means you've encountered a setback. And setbacks are temporary. What's important is how you respond to those setbacks. Do you let them define you, or do you let them teach you? When you treat your failures as study material, you stop being afraid of making mistakes. You stop letting fear hold you back. You become willing to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone, because you know that even if you fail, you'll learn something valuable. Here's the truth. The most successful people are not those who avoid failure. They are those who learn from failure. They are the ones who see every mistake, every setback, every obstacle as an opportunity to improve. They use failure as fuel to drive them forward. So the next time you fail, don't beat yourself up. Don't dwell on the disappointment. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? Remember, failure is only permanent if you let it be. But if you turn it into study material, you'll be better prepared for the future. You'll be stronger, smarter, and more capable. And each failure will bring you one step closer to your success. Don't fear failure. Embrace it. Study it, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Because in the end, your failures will be the stepping stones that lead you to your greatest achievements. A vision without a plan is just a dream. A vision with a plan is a goal. As we look ahead to 2025, it's crucial to understand something very important. Your future doesn't just happen. It's created. And one of the best ways to create the future you want is through study. Too often, people go through life without a clear vision. They let the days drift by, reacting to circumstances instead of intentionally shaping their future. But if you want to make the most out of the next year, the next decade, you need a vision. A clear, focused idea of where you want to go and how to get there. You see, the key to creating a vision for 2025 or any future is not just wishful thinking, it's study. Study gives you the knowledge and tools to make that vision a reality. Start by asking yourself, what do I want my life to look like in 2025? What do you want to have accomplished? What skills do you want to develop? What kind of person do you want to become? This is where study comes in. You can't just wish for things to be different. You need to invest the time and effort to learn what's required to get there. If you want to be more successful, study success. If you want to improve your health, study nutrition, exercise, and habits. If you want to build better relationships, study communication and empathy. Whatever your vision for 2025 is, it can be realized through dedicated learning and growth. Buyers is more than just something to trade. It's a journey to strive and flourish. I'll tell you something powerful. Vision without study is just a dream. You can dream all day long about what you want to accomplish, but if you don't equip yourself with the knowledge to make it happen, those dreams will stay just that, dreams. That's why I always say, study gives you the blueprint. It's the roadmap that guides you through the obstacles and challenges you'll face on your journey. The more you learn, the clearer your vision becomes. The more you study, the more you'll know exactly what actions to take to turn your vision into reality. Let me share something that shaped my own life. When I first started in this business, I didn't know where to begin. I had no clear vision of how to achieve my goals. But I had one thing that turned everything around: the habit of study. Every day I made it a point to read, to learn, to grow. And over time, my vision for my life began to sharpen. I knew what I needed to do, and I knew how to do it. The study became the foundation for my vision, and that vision turned into the life I live today. But here's the key: creating a vision isn't enough. You need to break that vision down into manageable steps. That's where study becomes even more important. The more you study, the more you'll understand the steps you need to take to reach your goals. In fact, every successful person you've ever heard of has a vision that they continually refine. They study the path, the tools, the mindset they need to achieve their goals. They don't just sit back and hope things will happen. They study, they plan, and they execute. As you look ahead to 2025, think about what you need to study to make your vision a reality. What do you need to learn? What skills do you need to master? What habits do you need to form? The more you study, the clearer your path becomes. It's not enough to dream, you must plan. And the key to planning is studying what others have done, learning from their successes and failures, and applying that knowledge to your own journey. The more you study, the more you'll discover new ways to achieve your goals. So I challenge you, create your vision for 2025. Think about where you want to be, and then study everything you can about how to get there. Study your field, study your passions, study the principles of success, and then take action. Because when you combine study with consistent effort, you create a future that's not just imagined, it's realized. 2025 is just around the corner. It's your chance to create something extraordinary. Don't let it pass by without a clear vision, and don't let it slip away because you didn't study. The future is in your hands, and it's yours to shape through the power of learning. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. Let's talk about one of the most powerful concepts that can change your life: the power of daily progress. Many people dream of success. They talk about big, bold goals, things they want to accomplish in a year or 5 years or even a lifetime. But here's the truth. It's not the big moments that make the biggest difference in our lives. It's the small, consistent actions we take every single day. You see, success is not about one massive leap forward. It's about the small steps, the daily progress, the little victories that accumulate over time. If you're waiting for one grand moment, one stroke of luck or magic, you're going to be waiting for a long time. But if you focus on making small improvements every day, you'll see results faster than you ever thought possible. Think about it. Every day is an opportunity to do just a little bit more, to be just a little bit better. And when you take that opportunity day after day, the results compound. The effort you put in today may seem small, insignificant even, but trust me, it's not. Over time, these daily efforts add up to something powerful, something transformative. And when you look back, you'll realize that it wasn't one big change that got you to your goal. It was the small, daily actions that built the foundation of your success. I want you to think about this for a moment. What would happen if you made a commitment to progress every day? Just one small thing, every single day. Maybe it's reading for 30 minutes. Maybe it's working on a skill. Maybe it's taking 15 minutes to meditate or exercise. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be huge. But if you do it consistently, you'll be amazed at the power of daily progress. This is where most people go wrong. They think they need to make huge changes all at once. They think that unless they're doing something massive, they're not moving forward. But that's not true. It's the little things that matter. It's the habit of showing up every day. I can tell you from personal experience that the most successful people I know didn't get to where they are by doing something extraordinary all at once. They got there by making small, steady progress each day. They learned, they improved, they refined, and every time they stumbled or failed, they got back up and kept going. Here's the key. Progress doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be grand. The important thing is that it's happening. Every day you're moving forward, even if it's just a tiny bit. Consider this, if you make just a 1% improvement every day, at the end of the year, you'll have improved by nearly 37%. That's the power of daily progress. It's the compounding effect. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to keep making small improvements. The secret to extraordinary success isn't found in one big breakthrough. It's found in the cumulative effect of many small actions done consistently over time. So ask yourself, what small step can you take today to move closer to your goal? What tiny improvement can you make right now that over time will lead to big changes? Don't wait for the perfect moment to start. The best time to take action is today. Start small, but start now. And keep going, no matter how small the steps may seem. Because when you look back, you'll see that the power of daily progress has transformed your life. Remember this, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. And the more progress you make, the more success you'll see. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated, day in and day out. So take one step today, and then another tomorrow, and keep going. Because that's how you build a life of achievement. As we close today, I want to leave you with this thought. The journey to success is not a sprint, it's a marathon. A journey that's made of the small steps you take every single day. It's about choosing to stop worrying, to stop making excuses, and to start studying, learning, and progressing. You have within you the power to change the course of your future. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or hoping for a lucky break. It's about what you do today, what you study, what you focus on, and how you move forward. Success isn't reserved for a select few. It's available to anyone who is willing to put in the work, to stay disciplined, and to make consistent progress. And that's what you're doing now. You're choosing to step forward, to take control, and to build the life you want. So, as you move into 2025, remember, the future is not something that happens to you. The future is something you create. And the best way to create it is through study, discipline, and daily progress. Don't wait for things to change. Be the one who changes them. Start today. And remember, success is predictable. You just have to stay consistent, keep studying, and never give up. I believe in you. And I know that if you take these lessons to heart, your future will be bright. Now go out there and shape your future, one small step at a time.